This week, we talk to a dad who loves using his bike to commute to work, but also biking his daughter to school every morning. Take a listen. Thank you so much for joining me on Chicago and Bike.
Thanks for having me. Yeah,
So, is this your bike, and can you tell me a little bit about it?
yeah. This is my bike. It's a Tribe bike that I picked up about I think 2019-ish, 2018, 2019-ish. Picked it up at the bike lane over on Milwaukee and Armitage. You know, I was commuting to work on Divvy prior to that, and then I'm like, oh, I need my own bike. So like a friend of mine at work, he recommended the bike lane to go check it out. Went there, first single speed I saw. I'm like, all right, I'm gonna pick it up. I think it cost me about $350 or whatever, but well worth the money. Like about 6 years. So yeah,
Yeah, did you say 16 years ago?
no, 6 years ago.
6 years ago.
No,
Okay.
no, not 16. No.
Okay,
Yeah.
that's awesome. And how long have you been biking, and what got you into it?
Um. So biking, I started working like I worked in the suburbs for a while, but then like I work at Northwestern,
Mhm.
so I've been working there for about 13 years, and I feel like it's like a nice way to get to work. So I started getting in Divvy. Divvy, I think I forgot when they started, like mid 2010s or whatever. So I got a Divvy membership, one of the earlier ones, like first 500 people to get a Divvy membership.
Wow.
So I was riding Divvy quite a bit, but those bikes are kind of bulky and whatnot. So I'm like, I guess it's been about 13 years I've been riding to this job basically.
That's super cool. And we talked a little bit about, having kids and
Yep.
biking and, the challenges of that. Tell me a little bit about that because we were talking shop a bit. What does that look like biking with your family and the adventures and challenges you've
Okay.
seen there?
I love biking, obviously. My wife, not so much. She's like a little scared of drivers, mostly about the drivers around the city. So she's not a big fan of biking. We have a 7-year-old. I always wanted to get her into like biking and all that. And like when she was 2 or 3 years old, I wanted to get like a cargo bike just
Hmm.
so I can like lug around in the city and whatnot. Because it's the fastest way to get around the city on a bike. Um, but she was against it. I'm like, all right, fine, I won't get a bike. But like last year, she went to a bike camp called Pedal Heads, learn how to ride a bike. I'm like, all right, this is a great chance for me to like get her around the city like on a bike. We don't go too far. Like her school's about a half mile that way. So on the mornings, we'll bike to school every day and bike back home. And then like we've been going a little bit further. Like she goes to swimming at Goldfish, which is in Damon and Grand-ish almost.
Hmm.
So we'll just kind of like navigate our way around. It's like honestly the fastest way to get around the city on a bike. So
Hmm.
that's probably the most she's done, like about 2.5 miles each way. And she loves biking. Like I wish there were more bike lanes. Like in the morning we were going the wrong way. I shouldn't be probably saying this, but on
You can tell.
Jackson is east. Like there's no bike lane going west here. So we'll just get on a wrong way, go west on Jackson. Coming back home, obviously with a bike lane, so it's really nice.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And what were the reasons that your wife was kind of nervous about biking and like having you get like a long tail bike?
It's not us. She doesn't trust the drivers. Like people are distracted on their phones.
Hmm.
Aggressive drivers. People are just like, and not enough bike infrastructure either. I mean,
Hmm.
I know like Chicago's getting better about it, but I think like there's not like protected bike lanes like that she was comfortable with. So
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah, absolutely. That makes a lot of sense. And what do you like about biking in Chicago? We've talked about a little bit of it, but what's your
Um,
favorite thing about it?
so like I think it's a best way to see the city. Like I think a lot of Chicagoans, at least here, like we tend to stay in our neighborhoods. Like I live here. I rarely we get out of this neighborhood. I think during the pandemic, actually, like started biking with a friend. We would go like to uh, like where do you live? Like
Lincoln Square?
Lincoln Square. Lincoln Square. Yeah, we
Yeah.
go over there. Go to a brewery over there. Big Isle, I think it's over there.
Hmm.
Get a beer and then bike back home. So it's like to go to a different neighborhood. Honestly, it's like the fastest way see the city and whatnot. Do a little bit of exercise, but mostly I do it for commute to work. And then like on the weekends, I'll go to the lake and like go about 10 miles each way and whatnot. So yeah,
Hmm. Yeah,
yeah.
that's awesome. And I think we've talked about it a little bit, but what do you dislike about biking in Chicago? What are the things that you feel like could be better?
Um, I kind of agree with my wife about the bike infrastructure. I mean, I think obviously we're doing much better than like a lot of other cities. I think Brandon Johnson is actually doing really well
Hmm.
building protected bike lanes, but I think there could be more protected bike lanes. I am like super defensive bike rider.
Hmm.
I know like some of the bike riders have bad reputation, they're aggressive and whatnot, but I'm like defensive rider for sure. I don't trust drivers. Like I'm always like, I think a lot of them are on their phones, they're distracted on their phones. Um, People that are out of state, I think like I'm like watching their license plate. I'm like, oh, you definitely don't know what you're doing, around the city.
Mm.
Like you're not watching out for bikers. So
Hmm.
um, yeah, I think Uber drivers, like distraction drivers on their phones. I feel like bus drivers are pretty aggressive too. Sometimes CTA bus drivers. So um, that's kind of like my negative about riding it, but like, it doesn't stop me from riding though. Honestly, at the end
Yeah,
of the day.
absolutely.
Yeah,
And have you had like a bad experience or like a close call or something like
yeah.
that? Or is it more just like,
Knock on wood, I have not gotten hit, or doored. I
mhm.
think like I feel like that's a badge of honor everybody wears. Like in Chicago, riding in Chicago, like they get doored. I think that's like the most common thing. Luckily, I haven't. But it's just because like I'm trying not to be too aggressive when I bike either. So had a couple of close calls, but like for the most part, I've been like okay though. Yeah,
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 absolutely. And I forgot to even ask, what do you use this bike for or your
yeah.
bikes? Is it just commuting? You mentioned traveling with your daughter. What does it look like?
Yeah, mostly like I would say like 90% is commuting to work. I work about 3 miles away from here. On a bike, it takes like 12 to 15 minutes. If I get on a CTA bus, it takes 45 minutes. So like that's why I love like use the bike for mostly for commute.
Mhm.
I on the weekends every once in a while I will like I said jump on Lakeshore Drive or the lakefront path, and like I'll go a little bit up north and come back home. Just like because I'm usually up early before my family's up, so I'm like I just want to get out of the house, go for a nice bike ride and whatnot. I was adventurous like this summer, like in July. I took it all the way to the botanical gardens, so like about 23 miles up there.
Mhm.
Uh, I don't know if this is the right bike to go on a trail or whatever, but it was actually kind of fun. I've been wanting to do it. I got up early one morning. I'm like, all right, I had nothing else to do today, so I took it all the way up to botanical garden. Took the metro back home. I couldn't do it both ways, but yeah. But mostly like 90% I would say is commute.
Yeah, that's awesome. Maybe one or two more questions here. Biking around with your daughter, I'm sure that has some very beautiful experiences. Is there a particularly like positive, memorable experience that you've had or you've had with your family biking?
Um, Honestly, like the ability to like get her to school on a bike, that's just memorable in itself. Like
Mhm.
we don't. I mean, we're not that far away, but it's like 15-minute walk, 10-15-minute walk, whatever with her. But on a bike, we're like you can run a little bit late, still get there on time. It's just like, and the fact that she loves biking, I feel like I'm gonna turn her into me, like as she grows up, like be a Chicagoan who bikes basically at the end of the day. Yeah.
Yeah, that's beautiful. Yeah, I think maybe a last one. You talked about infrastructure.
hmm
What do you wish that the city would do to make biking safer for you and your family? You talked about it a bit. Like, what are the spots where, like, oh, this is really good, this feels great,
hmm
that you feel like they could do more of?
Um, I think people do want to bike here. I think but it's just like protected lanes. I think that's the biggest thing right here.
Hmm.
Even I was talking about here. We have a bike lane going east, but not west. It's like slow to build that infrastructure. I want to be more like Europe. I haven't been to Netherlands, but Amsterdam. But I hear like amazing bike infrastructure. Everybody bikes there.
Hmm.
I'm hoping one of these days like we'll turn into that in Chicago.
Hmm.
I think obviously like we're definitely better than other cities, but we can still do better, honestly.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely.
Maybe even like turn some of these one-way streets into like a dedicated bike lane street. Get traffic completely off and just like make it a bike street basically.
Yeah.
That'd be nice too. Other thing is like there's a few parents that they're like big bikers too, and like we've been wanting to do like a bike bus, but it's just kind of hard to like find people to gather and like do like a bike bus like once a week to school. We're getting there. I think we have like a few people that are interested, but we'll get there like in one of these years. Yeah,
Mhm.
have a day like where all the kids are just riding to school basically.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. That's awesome. Well, cool. Well, those are all the questions I have. Is there anything else that you want to say or tell me or tell the people?
I mean, appreciate you like setting up this interview. Like I've been following your account for like a little bit over a year or whatever. So I think it's amazing to hear all the stories on your account, like other people who bike in the city. Like, um, uh, and, like I encourage more people to like. It seems kind of dangerous, but like whatever. I think it's fine. You'll be fine. Like, I encourage more people. The more people we get out there on bikes, the less cars will be on the street, and like the safer will be for everyone too.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you so much for joining me.
Oh, thanks for having me.
Thanks for watching that interview. Subscribe to see more conversations with Chicagoans biking around their city, dropping every other week.